Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and this week we're going to talk about communicating with customers. This presentation is mostly focused on communicating with irate or angry customers because let's face it, calm and collected and happy customers are really easy to communicate with. They're easy to get along with. One of the most difficult parts is dealing with a customer that's angry, especially if you are not quite sure how to fix their problem or if you don't agree with the reasons for them being angry. So we're going to talk about how to deal with that situation in this video. First, customer service is a term that gets used a lot, but a lot of people don't really sit and think about what that means. Well, customer service means that your business relies on your customer, right? Uh, if there are no people buying your products or services, the business cannot exist. So, your customer service focused business needs to make your customer the most important part of that transaction, right? They're giving you their money that they worked for your good or service that you're providing, right? And so they're not your enemy. They're the whole reason you exist. Customer service is extremely important because if your customers don't feel like they're being respected or being treated fairly, then they'll stop using your product and they'll go on to your competitors and you will lose out, right? So, customer service representatives focus specifically on communicating with customers and solving their problems. Not all employees will deal with customers, but most of them will, right? If I'm in the accounting back office, I'm probably never going to see a customer, but most people in the business are going to deal with customers, especially if you're in retail or on a sales team. You will be dealing with customers mainly um, as for your entire job, right? So let's make sure our businesses stay relevant for many, many years by learning how to talk to our customers and solve their problems in a polite, caring, and respectful manner. So, communicating with customers is different. Oh, there's a typo there. This is why proofreading is important, kids. All right. Anyway, communicating with customers is different from communicating with your coworkers, right? Um, when you're talking with your coworkers, you may be using a bunch of terms that are industry specific. You may be talking about things that aren't necessarily appropriate for talking about with customers. Um, they may not understand your traditions or your business culture. So here's some tips for talking with customers. First of all, first and foremost, above everything else, always be kind. Just be kind to your customers, right? Again, they are the reason you are in business. So be kind to them, right? Thank them for using your product or service over your competitors. Be truly grateful for the fact that they are coming to you and giving you their money. Be kind. Number two, be solution oriented. Okay. Don't make excuses. If a customer has a problem, don't make excuses. Don't try to blame them, right? Focus on solving problems if they have one. Number three, use common language. Don't bog them down with a bunch of industry talk. They don't understand your acronyms. They don't understand some of the more detail oriented parts of your business. So don't confuse them with that stuff. Use common language so that they can understand what you're saying. Number four, don't become overly personal with your customers. Some customers are regulars, and they'll come in and they'll try to build a relationship with you. That's fine, but don't get too personal with your customers, right? This is a business relationship after all. You don't want to know too much about their lives or give away too much about your lives to them. They're not your friends, they're your customers. Number five, remember that you need them, not the other way around. They don't need you. There are plenty other businesses out there that they can go to. They do not need your business. You need their business. Okay, so remember that. Remember that you are on the gaining end of this transaction. So let's talk about dealing with an irate customer. The fact is, most customers are pleasant, kind people who are happy to do business with you. They enjoy your products, they have a great attitude. But sometimes you might have a customer that comes in who's angry or snide or hostile for some reason. Doesn't matter what it is. Sometimes this can even happen when you're doing everything right. When the business hasn't even done anything wrong. Sometimes they can become angry for other things. Some people will take out their personal problems on a customer service worker because they know that you're going to be polite and courteous and you're not going to lash out at them. Unfortunately, that just happens sometimes, right? You have to be prepared for that when dealing with the public. So here's some tips for dealing with an irate customer. Number one, listen to their problem. Okay. Don't just assume that every problem an angry customer brings up to you is, you know, a fake problem, right? Listen to their problem. They might have a real complaint, a real genuine problem that if you solve will make your business better. So listen to their problem intently. Make sure they understand you're paying attention and you're listening. Number two, apologize. This is critical. It's critical that you apologize to your customers. Okay. Number three, solve their problem. If you can solve the problem, solve it. Okay. Number four, thank them for bringing up the issue in the first place. This is important, right? They need to understand that you appreciate them telling you, what the problems are, right? And sometimes you're not going to be able to solve your problem. In this case, do your best, apologize and then apologize if their needs can't be met. A good attitude with an irate customer can turn a disastrous situation into a positive one. It really can. Some customers, they get angry, they get frustrated, and if you're calm and you're respectful, it will calm them down, and their problems usually go away pretty quickly when both parties can be calm and rationally discuss the situation. So listening, this is not just for angry customers, this is for all customers. You want to listen to what they have to say, right? So here are some things you can say to indicate that you are listening to them, right? What seems to be the problem? That's a pretty common one, pretty easy one. You say, "How can I help you?" Right? Remember, you're a service. You're providing a service. So you can help them do something, right? So how can I help you? Number three, you want to repeat their problem back to them so you can understand it clearly. If they're telling you the problem, make sure you repeat. So what you're saying is, or if I'm getting this right, and repeat it back to them so they have a chance to correct you if you misunderstood something, right? Number four, I really want to help you, right? I really want to help you. What you're trying to do is you're trying to build a relationship between you and the customer where it's you two versus the problem, not them versus you, right? You want to both be on the same team trying to solve this problem together, right? And number five, please explain to me what the problem is so I can help you, right? Again, we're trying to let them know I'm the one who's trying to help you solve your problem. It's us versus the problem, not you versus me. So apologize. Apologies are magical, right? If an apology is done right, it can calm down the most angry customer, but they only really matter if they are sincere. If you give a sarcastic or a robotic apology, they're not going to listen to you. Or worse, it could actually make the situation more hostile, right? So you need to make sure that you apologize sincerely for their bad experience. So, for example, number one, I'm sorry you've had a bad experience, right? Empathy goes a long way. If you think about what it's like to be in their situation, this may help you to kind of understand what they're feeling. Number two, I apologize on behalf of, company name. Let me see if we can make this right. Now, this one is important to get it right because you do not want to admit fault, okay? Your company could be open to all kinds of legal issues if you admit that you did something wrong or the company did something wrong. But you can apologize on behalf of the company, but don't say, "I'm sorry, it's our fault. I'll take care of it right away." Right? Do not admit fault. And number three, I understand why that's frustrating. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Again, empathy. How would you want someone to apologize to you if something was going wrong? Right? Think about that and use that to guide you when you're apologizing to your customers. And again, this must be sincere. If you don't feel it, if you aren't actually sorry for what's happening to them, don't try to apologize to them, okay? Because it's going to come off weird and clunky and awkward. But hopefully, if you're in the business of serving customers, hopefully you take every angry customer, every irate customer, every customer problem as a dire situation and you actually do feel sorry for that, okay? Hopefully you feel that. But if you don't say it, don't try. And again, do not admit fault. Do not admit that someone messed up in your company because you do not want to open yourselves up to legal issues. The lawyers and everyone else can handle that later on, right? Solve. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is the action part of the problem solving process, right? So after you've apologized, now you can try to solve their problem. Sometimes you can, and it's a quick and easy fix. Sometimes you can't. So here are some things to say in either instance. So if you can solve the problem, say, here's what I'm going to do to help you, or here's what we're going to do to help you. We're is usually better because it invokes the idea that you're speaking for the company. Here's what we're going to do to help you, right? Here's what my company is going to do to help you. If it's I'm going to do to help you, then you are the good guy and the company still is the bad guy, right? You are representing the company at this point. And number two, if you can't solve the problem, say, I'm not sure how to resolve the situation. Let me check with my manager or supervisor, right? Don't try to solve unsolvable problems and don't argue with a customer about their problem. Don't tell them, sorry, I can't do anything. What are you going to do? Like, don't do that, right? Bring in your manager or supervisor because they're specially trained to deal with this kind of stuff. So, just as with apologies, you don't want to place blame when solving problems. Again, don't place the blame. Also, if a customer asks for your supervisor, get them immediately. Don't try to argue with them. Don't say, no, you don't need to talk to them. Okay, get them right away. Your supervisor can then take over and handle the problem from his point of view or her point of view. Um, it's very important that you're not arguing with the customer and you're not getting emotional and angry along with them, right? And then the last thing you want to do is you want to thank them. Okay. Even if you are unable to solve their problem, it's still very important that you thank them for bringing this issue to your attention. Companies need to be able to solve problems for their customers and before customers find them, right? And if you can't find the problems, if a customer brings the problem to your attention, that's a good thing because you're making your company better by solving this problem for all the customers in the future that will never have to deal with it, right? So you truly should be grateful that they're bringing this problem to your attention. You want to leave the conversation on a positive note. So make sure this thank you is again sincere, right? You want this customer to come back. You want to do what you can to keep them. This is probably the last contact they're going to have with your business. And if you do this wrong, they'll never come back to your place of business again. If you do this right, you might have secured a customer. You might have secured a return visit, right? So even if you don't feel like thanking them, in this case, please just thank them, even if you don't feel like doing it. Okay. Sarcasm or passive aggressiveness can turn this situation into a disaster. Okay. Do not be sarcastic. Do not be passive aggressive. Okay. You need to leave your attitude at home. Don't bring it into the workplace. And especially if you have an angry customer in front of you, if you start getting angry with them or start sniping at them, it's going to make the situation way worse. All right. You don't want to make yourself the bad guy. Okay. Remember, the whole focus is to bring you and your customer together so you can solve this problem together. It's not you versus the customer, it's you and the customer versus the problem. So, in conclusion, remember your main focus when dealing with customers should be to cultivate a positive experience for them. Again, they're the reason you get paid, right? Without customers, there is no business. So treat them with respect, dignity, and kindness. Treat them the way you want to be treated by other businesses, okay? It's very easy, especially whenever you deal with customers on a regular basis, very easy to have one or two bad experiences sour your entire opinion of your customer base. It's very easy to think, oh, I don't want to deal with customers today, or all my customers are dumb, or they're always angry and yelling. That's just not true. Honestly, think about it. It's really not going to be true. Not for any business anywhere. All right. Most customers are good people because most people are good people. And even customers that are angry because of a problem, they might be right to be angry. All right. Don't engage with them in an angry manner, even if they're swearing at you and calling you all kinds of names, right? This isn't the street. This isn't time to, throw hands at each other. All right. This is a business. You need to be professional. So if you feel yourself getting angry with a customer, calm down, breathe, and deal with them like your paycheck's on the line, because it definitely is. And have empathy for your customers. Try to understand what it would be like if you had their same problem. And think about whether or not you would be angry in that situation. You might be, right? But what would you want someone to say to you if you had that problem? Think about that. Okay, empathy is huge. And if you can't do this, maybe you shouldn't be in customer service. There are plenty of other places to go work. There are plenty of other things to do with your life. Customer service requires a certain amount of empathy and tact with dealing with angry people. Um, and it's a skill that you need to develop over time. Um, okay. Anyway, like I said before, most of your customers are good people. We spent basically this whole presentation talking about irate customers. They're going to be rare, but they're very critical in getting those situations correct, because those situations can be the make or break point for your business. That's it for me this week. I will see you guys next week. Enjoy the rest of the material for this week. We're almost to the end of the term. Got a big project coming up. I'm super excited about it. So let's fly through this material this week so you have more time to spend on your final project, because it's huge. Thanks for paying attention, and I'll see you next time.